What is up, dudes and lady dudes? Welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. Today we've got more new card reveals. This time we've got two new Amazement cards, which I am very, very hyped for because this is one of my personal biggest excitement archetypes that's been coming out. And I do think it's one of those archetypes where at the moment it doesn't seem anything more than an engine. It doesn't really seem to work fully as its own archetype just yet. So hopefully as they get more cards in this set, maybe the next set, maybe the set after that, they'll actually flesh into like a full-on potentially pure archetype. But even if they're not, they have really good synergy with stuff like trap tricks, really good synergy with like other trap based, really anything. You could say alter guys, you could say this stuff, because they just generically work pretty well, and they have a cool boss monster that's a little bit slow but pretty damn strong. So yeah, let's jump into it. All right, let's just start off with Amazement Assistant Delia. Hold on, let's get her art up here. We'll just get both the arts up here once it loads. Cheese and rice. Okay, here we go. This is Delia. She is cute as hell. She's throwing cards like a weapon. 1800 attack, 1400 defense. She's a light, probably maybe a machine. I think the other one was a machine, but we'll see in a sec. And then we also have this card here. Definitely reminds me 100% of the Plunder Patrol ships and nothing else. That has to be like the joke here, right? Is that because they like to use other artwork from other like archetypes and stuff in some of their trap artwork. So this has to be that, but we'll see. All right, so Delia is in fact a level 4 light machine that actually has certain synergy with other things. Level 4 light machine, okay. 1800 attack, which is actually pretty nice. It's actually the first normal summon in the deck with a decent stat. 1400 defense. You can only use its first and second effects once per turn each. The first effect says you can reveal one attraction trap from your hand as cost to special summon this card from the hand. Not terrible, honestly. I would kind of like it if it would allow you to like reveal an attraction trap from hand, or maybe set from your side of the field, like flip it up, show it to your opponent and summon it out. I know you obviously don't want to do that because the whole lure of traps is your opponent doesn't know what kind of disruptions you have for them. But if you need to extend, you need to extend. So it's still fine though. I think what I like about this is we've seen a lot of effects very similar to this over the course of the years, but a lot of those effects were like discard this card, a card from hand to special summon this, or send this card from your hand to the graveyard, or send another card from your hand to the graveyard, or shuffle it back into the deck to summon this. Weird effects like that. This one just says reveal. You don't actually lose any resources. You just have to have any one in hand and you can extend. So that'll work. It's an extender. You know, they don't have a ton of extenders except for the boss monster, so we'll take that. The second effect reads, you can send one attraction trap from your hand or face up from your field to the graveyard as cost to set one attraction trap directly from your deck to your spell in trap zone. Okay, so this is another cool effect. I mean, we've seen the other two main deck monsters say that like they have a quick effect where they can like swap one of your already face up attraction traps for another one. Which, or actually they move it to another monster, but this one just straight swaps it. But it's not a quick effect, so you have to keep that in mind. But I do think this is decent, like for follow-up. You're going to like obviously like equip a trap to your opponent most likely on their turn, slow down their play, use the Book of Moon one or whatever, and then come back to your next turn. You need like a card that can like swap you into a new one, reestablish disruption, because this deck is not super offensive. You're probably not going to kill your opponent immediately, and so you probably want to deal some damage but then set up for next turn to still have more disruption to keep your opponent from cracking through you. And so on that front, I think it's fine. I don't think this card is necessarily what the archetype needed, but I also don't know exactly what the archetype does need. I think if they were going to have a card like this, I'd like to see them get like a Link 2, because now we have a card that can summon itself out. If we can just get two monsters on the field, maybe if they had a good Link 2, then maybe we're going places. But until we see like a card that actually gives you payoff, like really legit payoff for putting the two monsters on the field using this card's extension effect, I'm not sure if this card is really all that necessary. But I don't think it's a bad card. I just think with the confines of how the deck works, it definitely is not exactly the perfect card we're looking for. So I'll leave it at that. Next up, we have Amaze Attraction Vanquish Viking. It's a normal trap card, of course. Target one amazement monster you control or a face-up monster your opponent controls and equip this card to that target. You can activate one of these effects based on the equipped monster's controller. If it's your monster, once per turn when an opponent's monster declares an attack, you can negate the attack, and if you do, change control of the equipped monster until the end of the battle phase. Interesting. I don't know why they made this second effect. Like, what is this? Like, why? Second part of the effect. Like, why do I have to give my opponent this monster? I guess the only thing that really does is that, oh, well, all it really does is like it gives this to your opponent, so then technically it's now equipped to a monster that your opponent controls. But even then, that's still, I don't know if I think that's like that. Why is that good? I don't know. It's fine. It negates an attack at least. So like, especially if you're using like a specific kind of monster or something, like maybe you have the boss monster out and you have a specific situation where you know your opponent's just trying to walk into the battle phase on you because they have a big monster. You could just throw this down, search it out on your opponent's turn, equip it real quick, and then you have at least an attack negate. Saving you from death or the removal of an important monster on your field. So that's fine. The second effect's a little bit better. It says if it's equipped to your opponent, when the equipped monster activates its effect, you can return it to the hand. This effect's a little bit better, I guess. It is technically a disruption. What I don't like about this is it's so slow, right? Like, you're going to equip this preemptively because you have to, and then your opponent then at that point has the choice whether or not they want to activate that effect, because if they can say, oh, I can activate this effect, my monster will get bounced back, and then I still resolve my effect. Cool. Or there'll be instances where they're like, it's not really worth activating the effect and losing the monster, so I'm just going to link it off, exceed it off, synchro it off, whatever, get the trap sent to grave, and then just move on with plays, extend without that effect. Obviously, you're trying to get them at a point where they need the certain effect to continue, and so they have to sacrifice like for the bounce. But I just feel like this is just like really, really not the greatest disruption. I think the trap is like really mediocre. I've been hoping, because we have the one trap in the archetype that like Book of Moon's a monster your opponent controls. I've been hoping that we would get another decent disruption one so that we could actually have two different ones. But unfortunately, I don't think this is quite fits the bill. I think we need one that's just kind of stronger. This one's just weak. It's just really, really underwhelming. I do think the monster, though, is pretty nice. And I just want to make sure that's clear that I don't think the card is bad. I just think if we ever get a good Link 2 for the archetype, or a good, I don't know, Exceed rank 4, because I think now we have 2 4s. I don't remember if the bear's level 4 or level 3. I don't know, something there. I think Link makes the most sense, but if we get something good there, and then an extender is like so good because the Link 2 is so good that if you can get into it, like you're in a good spot, then maybe this card becomes worthwhile in the deck. But honestly, I don't think this support really does much for the archetype. I'm still not fully out on it. I still love the archetype. Obviously, I think the archetype's good without this support. We'll just have to see how future support goes, because it might make this stuff better. So I'm going to end it up there, though, guys. Those are my opinions on these new cards. Let me know in the comment section down below your concerns, your questions, your thoughts in general on these new cards. Do you think they're better than I'm giving them credit for? Do you think they're worse than I'm giving them credit for? I want to hear your thoughts down below in the comment section, so hit me up there. And yeah, I'm gonna get the hell out of here. Thank you so much for watching. As always, subscribe if you have not yet and you want to see more new card review videos, deck profiles. I got a really exciting one coming very soon. I'm waiting on literally 2 cards in the mail that should come together. And yeah, that's gonna do it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.